Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how we doing today?
Dude, we're winners, Matt Perkins. We are winners. We have not said that for a while. You woke up, we won a Big Ten championship. We won a Big Ten game. It felt like a championship in Madison. I was there. Oh, it was beautiful. Man, it probably was like one of my favorite game days of all time. So I'm really excited. You know, like, I think the whole entire world needed it. It doesn't mean it changes a lot that's going on, but I think it makes people feel like, you know, that's Badger football. That's what I expected this year. It's grit, like perseverance, competitiveness. Like, we were competitive in this game. It was fun to watch. Dude, Matt Perkins, I know you have more to say. I just have so much more to say. Dude, you and I have been saying a lot of these things of like, play the young guys. Play the young guys. And what do? We play the young guys. They're building a culture. They're getting excited. Dude, it's nice to see. That's all I'm saying.
It was football weather.
It was Wisconsin football weather.
That's football weather. Just like nasty sleet, snow, rain. You could see everyone out there on the field was just like, so like Mason Posa's jersey was not the Badger shade of red. It was like deep maroon by the end of the game. That was really fun to see. Those young kids, man, like that was really exciting. We're here Monday Morning Fullback like we do it every week, recapping the game. And Bernie, this was one of the stranger games that I can remember, but in a very good way. Wisconsin beats Washington 13-10. Bernie, you were at the stadium. My phone was blowing up. I was actually watching the game on a little bit of delay, trying to avoid spoilers. And as soon as I had like 50 text messages, as soon as the game ended, I was like, yeah, I know what happened. I was still in like the early third quarter when I was getting all these text messages. So, because my wife and I were Vandy Auburn. So, which that was a heck of a game too, for those of you who don't know, but we're here to talk about the Badgers, and we do the good, the bad, and the ugly here on Monday Morning Fullback. We've been starting with the bad and the ugly recently, but let's start with the good, man. Bernie, we won a game for the first time in 2 months. We got a Big Ten victory. Our Badgers get their first victory over a ranked team in 4 years, which is kind of crazy to say. Luke Fickell gets his first victory over a ranked team as Badgers head coach, gets his first victory as an underdog as the Badgers head coach. And even through the TV, you could feel the relief coming off of the shoulders of Coach Fickell and the players at the end of that game. So, I mean, like, that's all good. And then I think, obviously, like, the place you got to start, though, is those two freshman inside linebackers. Cooper Catalano, Mason Posa absolutely showed out. Mason Posa, 2.5 sacks, forced fumble recovery, the final tackle of the game to end it. Dude, that kid is a monster.
Listen, I'm going whole defense.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a pick. I mean, we played good defense. And those guys in the middle, it's starting up front. You know, Ben Barton's crushing it. He doesn't get a ton of like accolades, but you can see that these dudes are running free, and they play fast. They play with like their hair on fire. Catalano, like, they had all the tackles almost. Like, it's amazing to watch. And you know the guys up front are doing their job if these guys are getting all the accolades. Like, it's so fun to watch the defense. But I think it's a team win. I mean, I do. Like, we didn't do everything we needed to, but when we needed to, we scored. And I'll say this, man, Carter Smith first touchdown. I was with his parents at Wando's, and they got a picture of the streaker before the Rondane game. And one guy was like, "That's going to be you if Carter scores a touchdown." I was waiting for it, but he didn't do it, which is probably a good thing. But dude, just to watch that kid come out and play and run the football, like, listen, we mentioned before, the weather was awful. The throwing was awful. You could see that there were turnovers because of the weather. It was a mess. But we did what we had to do. I mean, we did what we had to do. That's Wisconsin's Big Ten style. When it gets wet, the weather's bad, you just win at whatever cause. And it looked like a holistic team. Everyone came together. I'll say another good is, yes, it's a relief. I mean, we still got a lot of seasons, so let's not like get on the high horse here, but man, did everyone get that experience that they deserved, right? Like all the student body who's been here, they all deserve to be part of something so fun. Like I've been at hundreds of games, and when I say like this might have been one of my top, I mean it. Like it was first off, the whole tailgate leading up to the game was amazing. Then you go in, it starts snowing, it's ridiculous, I'm freezing, and you watch a great game, and then you rush the field. Like it's all the things that should happen over the course of maybe your entire time at Wisconsin happened in one night. And it was special. And you could feel it. The chancellor was on the field taking pictures. I got a picture with the chancellor. She's running around the field, high-fiving people. Like that's what it meant. You saw at the end of the game, Brady Collins ran up and gave coach a huge hug. Like, these guys want it. I'm just proud of the actual football players, because through all the turmoil and all the craziness, they are still working hard. And you could see that they have not given up. And that was, it was just a lot, dude. It made me feel good that the players and the fans, everyone got that experience.
It was really, really awesome to see on TV. And like you said, like the players didn't take a snap off. There was no giving up by this team. And everyone gatekeeping the rushing the field and go, we shouldn't be doing this. We're better than this. Go kick rocks. Like that was really cool. That was really cool. I'm so happy for everyone.
Did they play jump around in the mid when they
so cathartic.
So
cathartic.
Cool.
And like seeing you on the field, seeing all these guys on the field, just like I personally needed that this weekend. I had a tough weekend, so I really needed that. And I just think that, we'll get back into like the specifics of the game, but I also think that for this win to happen the week that AD Chris McIntosh comes out and says he's our guy for next week, for next season, I mean, is critical. Because if they'd come out and laid an egg, they're going to have more egg on their face on that as well. And they came out and played with purpose. And yeah, the offense was ugly. It was ugly for both teams, and the conditions had a lot to do with that. But we'll get into some of that a little bit more. But Gideon Atuka ran hard.
Mm-hmm.
Gideon Atuka makes one cut, goes downhill, and says, "Screw off! I'm going to try to run through you." And he had that one really explosive one, I want to say in the first half for like 22 yards. That was super impressive. Carter Smith ran really hard once he was in there. How awesome was it to finally see Carter Smith on the field? Like that was such an injection of life into that team. Even if he ended up 3 for 12 throwing the ball. At this point, I don't care. He's a true freshman making his first appearance in some of the worst passing conditions that you could possibly imagine. And it never felt like he got down and gave up, when the ball kept hitting the ground on his passes. It was so like that was palpable through the television.
It was really excited to meet his dad, who was wearing a number 5 Adidas jersey because they switched Carter's number last minute because there's another he was number 3. There's too many number 3s on the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was telling me something like there's a 3 on the offense.
Yeah, Tyrell Henry wears number 3.
Yes. So he had to switch. So I'm like, this is good luck. Like, this is Bollinger's jersey. He played as a freshman and he turned this whole thing around. I'm saying from day one, you and I have said, put the freshmen in and let's live or die on these kids becoming the staple of our program. And they did it. Listen, to watch Carter Smith go out there was awesome. Like, it was awesome. It's finally like, why haven't we been doing this before? So listen, there are some of those concerns still. Like yes, that happened. We backed, we're back in the program, but it's still one win. We still have 3 wins on the year. We still have 3 more games. The only way I see this playing out in a positive is if these dudes play like this every week.
Yeah.
And even if you lose, remember we said at the beginning, I just want to see competitive play. And I don't think we've been competitive for a big chunk of time. So I want to see competitive. Dude, we're playing number 2 Indiana, who's coming off a real tough game. But still, we're going there. You have nothing to lose. So play like that. But I think bad for me is our pass game. We got to figure it out.
Yeah.
We got to figure it out.
They got to do something.
I'm not going ugly there yet because we started a freshman. It was pouring rain, and then it started snowing. It's horrible conditions all around. Everyone felt it. But we got to do something. We cannot have the punter being the longest rusher in a game and the longest thrower. It's lunacy, but that's Big Ten football, and that's what can happen. But again, we need to figure that out. Right?
Iowa fans,
Jackson Aker, beautiful play.
Oh my God,
great play call, like the whole thing. But I'm so happy to see that.
That was a ballsy call, by the way. That was like at what, our own 30, our own 35, something like that. And Iowa fans are so mad that Wisconsin won a game with the punter's leading passer before they did. I mean, because you know how much Iowa fans love their special teams, especially their punt game. My both good and ugly for this game are the special teams, because the punt block was awful. That set up Washington's only touchdown. They were at the 1 yard line, something like that. Mm-hmm. But for Wisconsin to only give up one touchdown on a 1 yard drive against a team that has moved the ball very well all season with a very talented quarterback. Yes, I understand that their top receiver was very limited in this game. He got injured, came back, wasn't quite himself. They were out their top tailback. I don't care. Wisconsin's out of their fourth string quarterback, fourth string running back. Throw the excuses out the window. You play with who you got and you play to win the game, and Wisconsin won the game. And it's been a long time since we could say that. And that makes me feel warm and fuzzy for the first time in a while about Wisconsin football. Are they going to go in and beat Indiana this week? I mean, our friends at FanDuel say no. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Nonetheless, to have this, I feel like this was also huge for retaining guys and recruiting. There were a bunch of recruits in the house. Mm-hmm. This week, they stormed the field. All these guys were saying that was a really cool experience to see that. And if you're there, as a recruit and you see and you get to experience that, that's going to be something that sticks with you.
I 100%. I mean, you have all these warm and fuzzies, right? Again, my ugly, if I had a real ugly, I mean, we won, so it's hard. I think that we've been consistently making mistakes on special teams.
Yeah.
And that is not good for going into some of the better teams we're going to face. And you can't go to the Axe game and make a mistake. Like, if you want to warm up with the next two games, because they're, Indiana's number 2 and we're going to be playing home, they're going to be pissed after almost letting up that, they lose to Penn State. They're out of the top 10. I would assume.
Oh, so yeah. But how bad Penn State is?
You can't let the Badgers come to town like that. So I want to be competitive. I'm not saying we can't win. I want to be competitive, though. And if we play like we played, we can be. Listen, our trajectory can keep going up. We start at the bottom, so let's keep doing that. I love that for us. So that makes me excited. But yeah, you can't give up a punt block. In our own 1 yard is not hard to get. No. Anyone, you put you and me in the game, we're going to get it.
Hey, folks, before we continue, I want to remind everyone tuning in that we continue to be proudly presented by Chris Anicetti and his entire team over at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. If you're a collegiate athlete or parent of a collegiate athlete navigating NIL opportunities, Chris and his team are here to help maximize your earnings and protect your future. We all know that athletes train hard to be the best on the field, but who's making sure they're winning off the field? Chris Anicetti and his entire team at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. That's who. They don't just manage your money. They handle your entire financial world. From building a rock-solid financial plan tailored for athletes to paying bills, budgeting, setting up LLCs, and securing financing for cars, equipment, and whatever else you need so that you can focus on your game. Your career is short. Make every dollar count. Oak Bridge Wealth Management, where athletes build lasting wealth. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at oakbridgewm_Anicetti. That's oakbridgewm_ANICETE, or head on over to their website at oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. Chris Anicetti, Oak Bridge Wealth Management, they've been helping a lot of NCAA athletes and professional athletes get their money right. There's no one else better for this around that you are going to find. So make sure to get in touch with Chris and support the people who support us. All right, we're going to hop back into the show. Let's talk a little bit more about the defense. So good to see Ricardo Hallman get a pick in this game, and I thought he played really well. He had a down season last year, and early in this season, he wasn't playing great. He's really come alive the second half of this season. And, the younger DBs, your Emilio Agards and stuff, they're starting to really pick up and play well. Matt Young at safety, I think, had his best game of the season. He's been stepping in for Preston Zachman. And, I feel like is starting to get more comfortable in that defense. Daryl Peterson, when he came in the second half of this game, he provided a real spark, I felt like, for the defense after he was suspended for the first half for the targeting penalty in last week's game. And, obviously he wasn't, he wasn't Jack Sitchie, who came in and immediately had 3 sacks in 3 straight plays. But nonetheless, he came in and had, a real impact on this game. And I mean, that entire defensive unit, especially, the front 6 or front 7, whatever you want to call them in this scheme that they're running, they were able to do so much. You mentioned Ben Barton. I can't say enough good things about Ben Barton, 6-year senior, a dude who was originally brought in as an offensive lineman, recruited as an offensive lineman, switch over defensive side of the ball, and has grown leaps and bounds, and is now, he's making big plays every game. He is consistently in the backfield. He is consistently breaking double teams, tossing guys. And I think that is JVR Suggs and Parker Peterson, are and Brandon Lane, those 4 defensive tackles are a huge reason why Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano are able to rack up these tackles, because they are taking on offensive linemen and they're beating offensive linemen. So now the other team has to double team those guys on most snaps, which allows the linebackers to run free. And that's sort of what Wisconsin has needed since Mike Tressel took over the defense. They've needed really impactful defensive tackle play, and this is the first year they've really gotten it. And you see how important that is to the scheme and to the defense. And yeah, like Wisconsin is going to go up against the number 1 scoring offense in the country in Indiana this coming week. But you've got to feel confident that, I'm not saying that Wisconsin's going to win. I'm not saying that they're even going to have a chance to win, but I do feel like the defense is going to give Indiana some looks that they haven't seen yet, and is going to at least slow them down a little bit. They're going to be going against the top Heisman contender and Fernando Mendoza, quarterback for Indiana, and a litany of excellent receivers, but they're going to need that defensive line to continue to penetrate and create havoc plays.
I mean, this game, we made them play into our game plan.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's how you win.
And so did the weather, to be fair. So did the weather.
To be fair, I remember we did say, and I said this all along, I want it to rain because it plays into our hand. And it did. All the things, Matt Perkins, we're not geniuses, but we did a good job, I would say, on this one.
We did. I said hammer the under, and it went way under. I think the over-under was, 44.5, and it was 23 total points in this one. Like, come on.
We might not be, ESPN, but we're doing a pretty good job here. We know the Badgers, I would say pretty well. But listen, I'm not going to toot our horn. It's exciting. Our defense is playing great. Like, they really are. They're a huge upgrade. They're even playing much better than 5 games ago. But they are the spark that have been leading us. When you watch the game and you sit there, the fans, everyone's going nuts. The guys are celebrating on the field. That's old school football. It's having a good time. And you can see these dudes are having a good time. And I mean, what? Posa had 15 tackles or 150 tackles?
150. Catalano had 19. Posa had 11.
I mean, it's bananas, these guys. I mean, that's like half of the entire snaps that Washington probably have. They are all over the field. Dude, Posa reminds me of Chanel, and Catalano reminds me of Jack Sitchie. Like, these guys are unstoppable, and their motors never end. And it's the spark that we need.
They had 30 of the 61 tackles between them. They literally had half.
50%. I mean, it's actually amazing. And guys were making plays all over because they are the leaders and they get everyone excited. Even me, sitting around or standing in the stadium, I'm excited. I'm pumped for Carter Smith to see what he can keep doing. Yes. More leadership. He's a freshman, but who cares? Who cares? Who cares? He can come in and really, I think he can have a major effect. And listen, guys, that's his first game played. He came in January. Is that right?
Yeah.
So like he's have minimal reps, minimal reps.
I mean,
and we know that up
he
until
hadn't
this
had
point.
reps with. He just been playing scout team all year. Like he had no experience with the first string guys up until the bye week.
And I'll defend that. He shouldn't. Like he's a 4-string guy. The plan was to redshirt him, and the plan really got blown up because Billy Edwards Jr. was supposed to be our guy for the entire year, right? And then have Danny O'Neill come in if he was needed. Now everyone's getting hurt, and we need and you know what? But when you need a spark, that dude's been ready, and it's exciting. Like it's exciting.
It's exciting. Matt Bernstein, what was our biggest qualm with the team last year?
Our biggest qualm with the team?
Yeah. What was our
quarterbacks?
Well, no. Well, our other big issue was that guys weren't playing together, right? I think what you said last year, I thought was the most poignant thing you've maybe ever said on this podcast was you saw Darian Dupree's pads pop out of his jersey and no one put him back in for 3 plays.
Yeah.
It's the opposite now. It's the absolute, and you can see that this is much more of a team and that they are much more together
right
now. Being competitive has something to do with that, but I still felt like we saw that even in some of the blowouts, even when they were getting their butt whooped by Iowa and Ohio State. But that was so evident here. Like, someone was falling down. There were 3 guys there every time to pull them up off the ground. There was, offense, defense, special team, whatever. And that is probably the most positive thing that I can take out of this game here. And now let's move forward to Indiana here for a second, because Matt Bernstein, our friends over at FanDuel, even with Indiana squeaking by Penn State last week, they have Indiana as a 30.5-point favorite against Wisconsin at home. The game is in Bloomington. Over-under is yet again 44. So they are basically saying that they think Indiana is going to win 37-7, give or take. And, 31 points is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, especially against a defense that, Wisconsin now ranks 41st in the country in total defense, 26th in rushing defense, 68th in pass defense, and 51st in scoring defense. And now, while those aren't like, the elite defenses that we saw under Jim Leonard and Justin Wilcox and Dave Aranda, it is a big step up from the past couple of seasons. And now, obviously, you go over and you look at Indiana. They are first in scoring offense, second in passing efficiency, 6th in total offense, 9th in rushing offense. They're really good. They have a top 5 total defense as well. It is it's going to be as tough a game as they've had all year, including Ohio State. But what we saw from the team this week makes me think that they are going to fight for 4 quarters, and I think they can keep it within 31 points. Now, maybe I am drinking like all the Kool-Aid and still riding this high, and maybe there will be a letdown going into Bloomington. But you know what? Like, the fact that I have some hope, I couldn't say that 2 weeks ago.
I'll say this. The Indiana game rides solely on the offense.
Oh, 100%.
Solely because, and we've seen this in games past, the defense has been out there for 10 plus more minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of time when the game's an hour long.
But Matt Bernstein, we're both assuming Carter Smith is going to start this week.
I hope so.
And he's going to have finally going to have a full week as the number 1 guy. I think that's going to be beneficial. I still don't expect them to. I don't expect them to throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's probably not going to happen. But I do expect them to be much more cohesive and have some plays where they are able to get Vinny Anthony the ball a little bit more, where they are able to utilize some of the tight ends, whether it's Lance Mason or Grant Stack or whoever, a little bit more. And
but to do that,
we're not going to see 3 for 12 for 8 yards again.
No, but to do that, you have to stay on the field.
Yes,
and to hold a high power offense, to slow them down, to keep them cold, to save our defense. Listen, our defense is 44th because they play 100 snaps a game. Like, it's bananas. It's not, if it was an even Steven, then they would be higher ranked. I mean, I just know, I believe that. So, I mean, I think the offense needs to control the ball more. We need to stay on the field. And I think with Carter Smith, we're almost we're like a dual threat here. You know, he can run, he can pass. And I would go into this week just working on the pass. Almost inside drill I would do for like 10 minutes because you're doing it all the time anyway. And I would work pass. Let Carter Smith get 1,000 reps in every. Dude, I'm being dead serious. I would do only passing, or I would spend 70 to 80% of my week doing that with him. Getting the reads, getting the feels, throwing balls, making mistakes, seeing what he sees, still doing some running, but a little bit. And listen, that's the only way we stay on the field. We have a chance. I think Indiana can score at will. I mean, that guy, that Mendoza is amazing. So I'm not going to take
that receiver room that they have is incredible.
Their offense is incredible, but if they're not on the field, they can't do anything. Yep. And I think our defense, when they are going to be fresh and pumped up to play number 1 or number 2 in the nation, number two, dude, that's an appetite for destruction. Like, if we get into a game like Indiana, why can't we win with young guys who have nothing to lose? Now, I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too. Like, if you go back 3 weeks, we were getting blown out. So I have that in the back of my head. But if you can take this and catapult forward and say, we're going to play the young kids, Carter Smith's going to take a step forward, everyone's going to rally behind these guys. I mean, I would rally. I'm rallying behind them right now. And I'm not going to the game. Of course. If the offense stays on, special teams, yourself, please, and get things right. The more mistakes you make, the more we're gonna lose. And that is who's the head coach who's the coach of special teams?
Matt Mitchell.
Dude, that guy's got to work harder, man. We got to put your starters in. I know most of them are, but like, you can't have these mistakes. Oregon pulled some stuff on us. Like, everyone's ready to do it.
Yeah.
Let's not let that happen. Let's put an emphasis on that this week. But again, it's exciting. You're going to play number 2. It's a Big Ten matchup. We're coming off a win. We have momentum. We won in a nail-biter fist fight. And we're playing the young kids, which we said to do.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens? Listen, we could get blown out, but who knows? If I'm competitive and we get blown out, I'm at least a little bit excited about what's going on.
And if those kids, we're calling them kids because they're 18, 19 years old, if they are able to show that they can at least compete with Indiana and are not scared, that's a huge step in the right
direction. I don't think the guys are going to be scared. I just want to see people compete and playing again, doing your job. Yeah. And just we don't even need to keep it close. I just want to see guys out there having a good time, but running around crazy and making plays. And I think everything will shake out. It'll be okay.
Now, playing hard for 4 quarters.
Let's go here for 1 minute. We have 3 games left.
Yes, we do.
If we're competitive in all 3 and don't get blown out, what's our feel for where we're going?
I mean,
I just want to.
We know the head coach isn't changing. We know the coordinators probably not changing. I'd be surprised if they got rid of Grimes after a year, and Tressel and Fickle seem to be tied at the hip. Mm-hmm. And you show excitement from a lot of. How many true freshmen and redshirt freshmen are playing a lot of snaps right now? I mean, Carter Smith, obviously. You've got Cubberly and Mandel in the offensive line. Atuka, Dylan Jones was the starting running back before he got hurt. Dupree's a sophomore, second-year player. Eugene Hilton is playing a lot. Grant Stack. And, then on the defensive side of the ball, you got the 2 inside linebackers. We saw a lot of Tommy Heiberger this week, which was really cool to see. And then you look at the cornerbacks, you look at Agard, you look at Kairos Skanes, a true freshman, both getting a lot of reps. That is what excites me for the future, is seeing these young guys who are out there and playing at a Big Ten level.
I just am thinking of this is great. And I'm not a doomsday guy, but this was a great win. But we also playing Indiana. Then we're playing Illinois at home, which, if you don't compete in that, I think it's trouble. Yeah. And I think there are scenarios that can
Illinois is a good team, though. Illinois is a good team.
They're a good team, and we're going to play at home, and Coach B is going to probably try to put it on us. And I think the one game that could turn the tide is if we are competitive at Minnesota.
No,
if we win.
No, win. At this point, it's win. It's win against Minnesota. If they win against Minnesota and take the axe, then I will be able to confidently go into the offseason and say, hey, like I truly see a path.
I think it's also how we lose the next 3 weeks if we do lose, right? That matters.
That matters, but I really think that like to me it's all going to come down to this Minnesota game. I
would agree. I mean, listen, Indiana's they're not gonna let up, and they're gonna be pissed. Illinois, you got to be careful with. I mean, that's a game that there's a chance, but Coach B's gonna get them riled up to come to Madison, right?
And he's gonna get them former ready. Badgers that they have on staff.
I do think that that's our last home game, and people are going to come hard with it. So I hope so. I would say that the stands are going to be great. Excuse me, but again, if we don't look good in the next 3 games, that does not bode well for the offseason in the future. No. I'm not saying we need to win with some kind of like or lose gracefully, but we really do need to. If we are lose very gracefully. Yeah, I don't know. You get a win here, and it feels like we're completely on track now. But I'm nervous that we're all like getting onto this. We're so good now. But
I do get nervous about a big letdown against Indiana, a team who is not afraid to run up the score either. Kurt Cignetti does not give a flip.
I think he has to do it after last week too. I mean, he's number 2. They're not going anywhere. But you want to stay number 2. You want to buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The top 2 get a buy.
Top 4 are going to buy.
Top 4. So you want to buy. I mean, you do. You want other teams to beat each other up.
Definitely.
Listen, I'm excited. Everything we're saying, I'm excited for the players. They seem to be rallying behind each other and getting excited.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the program. Dude, to win it's a huge thing when, we've had this kind of bad taste in our mouth. I think a lot matters. And I know we're going to say this a million more times. A lot matters on the next 3 weeks of how we feel and what next season looks like.
Well, no matter what happens, we'll be here on Believe in Badgers, talking about it, bringing back some more guests, and recapping it every week on Monday Morning Fullback. We appreciate everyone tuning in here. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. We'll be back again soon. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.